Good afternoon. My name is Richard Afrim, and I come from the Diocese of Ho, H-O, in Ghana. Ghana is on the west coast of Africa, and Ghana lies between Ivory Coast and Togo. And after Togo, you have Benin, then Nigeria. I'm sure most of you heard about Nigeria, but not so much about Ghana. And it is so because Ghana is quiet, it's peaceful, we are not fighting, we are not causing unnecessary troubles. So people don't hear much about Ghana. So I come from Ghana, and our diocese in Ghana is called Ho. And Ho is one of the 20 parishes, dioceses and archdioceses in Ghana. I am here this weekend, approved by the bishop of this diocese, Bishop El Boye, and he has allowed my bishop to come and make a mission appeal to get some assistance to continue his mission work in the diocese. So we have been assigned to this parish by the director of the propagation of the faith, Anne Rivet. So my gratitude goes to the bishop and to the director of the propagation of the faith. I also like to thank Father Charles, Father Brian, and all those who made the necessary preparations for us, or for me, to be here to have time, spend some time with you. My bishop asked me to send you or to bring you his greetings and blessings, and in return, he would like you also to remember our diocese in your prayers. Next to that, he also would like me to share some areas of concern, areas of challenge, areas of need with you, so that you may be able to help where possible. The faith life of the people in my diocese is quite alive and active. People love to go to church. We have vocations to the priesthood plenty, vocations to the religious life also abundant. Our problem rather is the fund to sponsor the education of these vocations and make them materialize. The church, people love to go to church in my diocese. Sundays, many towns, many villages, you don't have the shops open because people are spending many hours in church. In the little parish where I help, I'm retired, by the way. I'm retired. Last month, 15th of July, I celebrated my 50th anniversary as a priest. So I'm only helping out now in a small parish, staying out of trouble. So that is what I do now. And Bishop asked me to come and help him with this. Normally in our little parish church, 2 hours on Sunday for Mass is nothing to worry about. But when the bishop is around, you could have Mass lasting for 3 hours when he's around to do confirmation, all kind of things to embellish the celebration. And you ask, are we not Roman Catholic? Yes. How come you have 2 hours of Mass? Well, because you do so many other things that perhaps you wouldn't like to do. One of them is the offertory procession. We don't just put money in the basket, a few minutes, but people, everybody at Mass comes forward with their gifts, whether cash or material things, maybe food, clothing, whatever. And you come in procession to the front and you dance back and forth. So that takes some time, and other things we do. So, well, this is to tell you that the faith is alive. People want to go to church and they are happy. But sometimes when you see where they have gathered, celebrating the Eucharist, you say, these people must have faith, because it is nothing to talk about. It's not much. You have the building, and windows, doors are put in, floor sometimes has cement, sometimes doesn't have anything, and that's where we worship. And the same thing applies to schools too. So in order to have some system in what I'm saying, I have captured the area of need for our diocese into 3 C's. The first C has to do with children and the applied in our diocese. What about children? Children, we have many children. They want to go to school. They try to go to school, but when they arrive at the school, there's not much to encourage them to keep going back to the schools, because sometimes they have to carry chairs from home to the classroom, and at the end of the day, they have to carry those chairs back. And sometimes what to sit on is not there. That's why they have to carry these chairs. They don't have the copybooks. Sometimes they are coming bare feet. Sometimes in the school uniform, the parents cannot afford, and so on and so forth. And I remember as far back as the early 50s, when I was going to school, I didn't have any footwear. I only got to wear shoes when I was going to high school. And even then, the first shoes they bought for me had a big accident. I walked in the rain, it got wet, and I put it by the fireside. And I went away. When I went back, one of the shoes fell into fire. So I was left with one. You can't be wearing one shoe around. So I went back to wearing no shoes. So, and that thing is still common today. You go to some villages, the children are all wearing nothing, and they go to school like that. But that is not important so much. The important thing is the classroom, well furnished, and the books to study and to learn and to copy things in. So what the bishop does is, when he locates a situation like that and he gets funds from appeals like this, he goes to the community, discusses with them what area they would like him to help. But before he offers any help, the community must provide 15% of what they are looking for. If they can do that, the bishop can make the help available for them, whether it's completing classroom, buying furniture, and so on and so forth. So that is the first area of need. And I'm here this afternoon, not so much for handouts. I'm here for a hand up. We are ready to help ourselves, but often what we need is an opportunity to be able to help ourselves. And that is why I'm here today. So I'm here to provide you with the chance to be a missionary in the Diocese of Ho this weekend. Some missionaries go out to the missions to help. Others stay at home, but they send help to the mission areas. So I would like you to be at home, in the comfort of your home, while you are doing missionary work to the Diocese of Ho, by sending what you can offer the whole diocese this morning, this afternoon, at this Mass. The second area of need, apart from the children and their plight, has to do with health services or clinics in remote areas. Because of votes to get to positions, politicians do help communities to build clinics if they know they will get big votes from your area. But if your community is too small, they won't get much vote, they will not come and help you. So it is the duty of the church then to go to those remote areas, villages, where the government people don't care about, to go and help the people to help themselves. For example, build a clinic or a health post. Because areas like that are so deprived, no lights, no proper potable water, and so on and so forth. So again, Bishop, from funds like this, may be sponsoring young people who would like, after their training as nurses, to go back to the remote areas to serve the needs of their people. Areas where people live near their farms and they have no health facility, no light, transportation very poor. What happens on the farm at night or during the day if they have an accident? How do they get to the nearest hospital? That's a big problem. So if there is a clinic in the community itself with a qualified nurse, see that many lives will be saved, which otherwise who would not be anymore in existence. People would die. I remember my own sister, for her firstborn, she entered into labor around 11 p.m. The elderly women in the village who are supposed to be local midwives, they came to help, but they couldn't save the life of the baby. Whilst in situations like that, if there's a qualified nurse or midwife, they may be able to save the lives of many children. But if it is absent, the mortality rate is very high. The third area of need has to do with places of worship. I mentioned earlier that many of these places, they don't have a place to worship. Sometimes it's in the classroom, and they have to take their plastic chairs there for the service. Or sometimes it's under the tree, like when I was having my Golden Jubilee almost a month ago, 15 July, there was such a big crowd of friends and people, so we could not go into the little church, which is or village chapel, which was built in 1907. Apart from that, they are trying to build another church. Up to today, they are not able to complete. So when I went to say the Mass, they pay for canopies, and the school compound has all kinds of trees. So we added the canopies to the shade of the trees, and that is where I celebrated my Golden Jubilee. So if otherwise these people will get some help, a church which was built small thing for maybe 500 people in 1907 cannot be serving people who are almost 2,000 today. So you can imagine what challenges are there. I can go on telling you more and more and more, but I think these examples give you an idea why I am here. And whatever you contribute to help a whole diocese will go a long way in making the faith more livable or opening chances for children to be educated and saving lives in communities where there are no clinics. That is for the appeal, and what I would like to share with you about the readings has to do with prayer. We heard that Jesus, after feeding the people, the crowd, he sent the disciples to go to the other bank of the lake, and he despised the crowd, and he himself went up a hill to pray. Jesus is God. Why does he have to pray? To tell us that prayer is very important. We cannot be Christians if our prayer life is nil. We need to have a prayer life. We need to pray. Good prayers establish harmony between our body, our spirit, and our soul, our mind. So if we are Catholics, practicing Catholics, we must make sure we have a sound prayer life. We saw, or we heard in the gospel, when Peter got panicked, got frightened, but he realized Jesus was the one around. He asked him to save him. When we have problems, whom do we turn to? Ourselves, our friends? Who? God is there. Jesus is stretching out his hand. Come, I want to help you. But if you do this, you don't appeal to him, Jesus will never force his help on you. So we need to have good relationship with Jesus, so that in time of crisis, in time of tribulation, when we call him, he will spontaneously come to our aid. But when we wait until troubles come before we know there is God in our lives, then it is too late. So my dear friends, let's have a decent prayer life. Thank you, and God bless you. Father, thank you for the chance.